Hi everybody, Tom here. I'm in Baltimore for the Tree Care Industry Association Expo. It's an interesting morning here in the world on November 6th, 2024, trying to focus on being outdoors in the middle of this big city and concentrating on stuff that's real. So, this is mostly real. This is Platanus X Acerifolia. That is a hybrid, which means it's a combination of two different species. Being Platanus occidentalis, the American sycamore, and Platanus orientalis, which is Oriental or Asiatic sycamore. It's native, the orientalis, the native range of that is more like the Middle East, Israel, Iran, Turkey, and then east to the Himalayas. And of course the American sycamore is throughout the range, but very common in the Northeast, one of my absolute favorite trees. The one issue with Platanus occidentalis, the American sycamore, is very prone to a fungal pathogen called sycamore anthracnose. So they figured out how to hybridize the American sycamore with orientalis and came up with Platanus X Acerifolia. Now, what does Acerifolia mean? It's not a species, it's a hybrid. So Acerifolia, folia, maple leaves. The leaves look a little bit like a maple tree. Fair enough, right? That's true of sycamore, and perhaps especially about the London Planetree. This particular tree has a little growth anomaly up there we're going to talk about in a minute, but one of the reasons why this tree is so often planted is because due to that hybridization, it is more resistant to the aforementioned pathogen that affects the American sycamore. That's a sycamore anthracnose. So you get all of the, or a lot of the beauty and the structure and the form and the adaptivity of the American sycamore packaged with the resistance to the disease. It's kind of like the idea of mixing the Chinese chestnut with the American chestnut. Whole nother conversation, but that's one of the ways that they're working on combating the chestnut blight and still have something that resembles an American chestnut in our landscape. We're not there yet, but they're working on it. The London Planetree is an example of a pretty successful, very successful hybridization attempt, and this plant is used extensively in urban landscapes because of its adaptivity and therefore resistance, tolerance of drought, tolerance of heavily compacted soils, traffic, pollution, what have you, and that's why you see it in a lot of cityscapes like here in downtown Baltimore, Maryland. You know, surrounded by buildings and a lot of paving. Now, along with buildings and paving and outdoor public spaces comes the need for lighting. And unfortunately, this lighting has not been updated or maintained in such a way as to make sure that those cables that are bringing the power to those lights are loosened and adjusted once in a while. So I don't care how adaptive this tree is, this hybrid, this London Planetree, it is going to be choked and the vascular flow constricted, and eventually there will be a catastrophic failure here if that's not addressed promptly. And that's what tree committees are for. That's what city arborists are for. This may or may not be public property, private property, I'm not sure, but I think we as citizens informing ourselves and educating ourselves, and we as arborists passing by and bringing awareness to the front can help out. So I'm hoping someone comes along and takes care of this tree and its many neighbors down here that need to have some pruning and to have some lighting adjusted. Meanwhile, take a look at Platanus X Acerifolia, the London Planetree. Pretty great tree. Not native, not even real in the sense that it is a hybridized plant that does not occur naturally per se, but it's also not invasive. So great example of a success story in my opinion. Okay, that's it for today. Be well. Get outside. Shut this thing off.